Hey everybody, this week's episode of the Rahdo Recap is brought to you by Elf Creek Games. And hi there everybody, I'm back in the USA. As promised, we're in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, hanging out at Dan King, the Game Boy Geek's house. And pardon me as I go under a little bridge here. I just want to, first of all, give a shout out to Dan for hosting us. He is the best. And in case you didn't know, he's about to start his 12th season fundraising on Kickstarter. It'll start on February 26th. And I don't know if there's any place else where you can get almost 100 promos for just 50 bucks. And you'll be supporting an amazing channel run by an amazing guy. Dan, thank you so much for giving me and Jen a place to recharge our house batteries, figuratively and literally. Okay, so what's new this week, folks? What's new on my channel? What's new on other people's channels? What's new on Board Game Geek? Well, let's start with some exclusives. We put up for members of the channel here on YouTube or over at patreon.com the latest full 4-hour-long episode of the Rahdo Talks Through podcast. Man, there was so much there. You'll hear most of it on the main channel, but if you want to watch all of it, well, it's available for supporters. We also have opened the vault again and talked about the forgotten games of 2019. That was a bunch of chit-chat from Ruel with the live stream audience. He also did some bonus reviews of games, and we talked about the greatest game year of all time, 2019. The games that lived up to my anticipation and the ones that failed. And then finally, we have a very unique special exclusive bonus. It's Mythwind Season 2. I'll talk about this a bit more. Maggie of Amy and Maggie did a run through for Mythwind. She did a fantastic job, but it just shows the beginning of the game. She did a second run through showing the game midways into Season 2. So you can see some more Mythwind action on the channel if you like. If, again, you keep Rahdo running by supporting as a member here on YouTube or over at Patreon. Alrighty, so what does everybody get to see on the channel? Well, for starters, how about Flashpoint Legacy of Flame, the legacy version of Flashpoint Fire Rescue. Oh my gosh, this game has made me a believer. I wasn't the biggest Flashpoint fan, but I really enjoyed this quite a bit. We'll also have a preview for Flow, and this is going to be launching very soon on Kickstarter, and it's going to be one of the biggest games of the year. I'm just calling it right now, folks. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's evocative. Jen gave it a rare 5 out of 5 stars, and you can see why in the run-through. Also, I did a preview for En Route, a very, very cool roll and write that gets rid of the rolling, gets rid of randomness entirely. The game is 100%, everything is decided by you and your opponents in this very, very clever route building game that we also enjoyed quite a bit. Let's see, but I mean, those were all run-throughs for me. We also had some gameplay from Amy and Maggie. I already mentioned Mythwind, that Maggie did an amazing demonstration. That was a lot, showing off 2 completely different characters interacting with each other. Most of the run-throughs I've seen are solo, but she actually did a 2-play run-through, which was very, very nice. And then Amy and Maggie got together to do Cascadia Rolling Rivers, which is one half of the new roll and write versions of Cascadia. I'm going to be doing a run-through of Rolling Hills a little bit later on, so you can see both of these new spin-off games, but no reason to wait for that. Amy and Maggie have got you covered with Rolling River. And then the last thing that appeared on the channel was my questions answered number 23. Big questions here. What are the times that I have rage quit while playing games? What is my most played game of all time? How do you fix Board Game Geek ranking system? All that and more in the latest Q&A. Okay, what else have we got? Well, how about talking about some other channels right now? I'm always, as folks know, a huge fan of Our Family Plays Game, and Mick and Starla, they finished their 2023 rating all the games we played series. It's taken them 3 weeks to do it, and I gotta say, their rating system is one of the best in the industry as far as I'm concerned, and they really surprised me quite a few times, both with the games they played in 2023 and how they got rated. Also, man, they had a great week. They had another new Voices segment that was really cool. They had a new Board Game Geek video. They are firing on all cylinders, and also, I should say, Mick and Starla, I love the changes you've made to the weekly show starting this year, kind of rearranging things. I think the show flows so nicely now. Great stuff. Okay, what else have we got? Cardboard East. has finished their top 100 games out of Japan with their top 10. The 10 greatest games that you got to go to Japan to get. I've already played 3 of them myself, and I think they're all fantastic. Which 3? Well, you'll have to watch this video to find out. But then there's 7 more I haven't played and covered on the channel, so you're going to get some really great recommendations for games you've probably never heard of if you follow the links down in the show notes below. Okay, Lord of the Board is back with a new video that I really liked. It was how to improve Knights of Root. You know, when you get together and play Root with your friends, because of course Root is really you know, his favorite game of all time. Here's the interesting thing though. I watched the video thinking it would just be about Root. It's barely about Root at all. Almost everything he suggests are great ideas for any game session. One of them is Root specific, but it was just a really great video of how to ensure all your friends and family have a great time when they come over for a game night. Okay, and then room and board reviews. Chris, you know, regular on the R&R show, gotta go under that bridge again. He'd put up another one of his 5 reasons you shouldn't back series. You know, I mean, Chris's whole thing is anti-FOMO on his channel. And this time he's covering Dante. Or is it Dante Inferno? It's a new game that's done like almost 1.5 million, tons of miniatures, tons of plastic, and rather than build up the hype even more, Chris tries to cool things down and make people really analyze, should we back this game? Here's 5 reasons not to. It's one of his most popular series, and I always appreciate it when he does it. I mean, you'll learn more about the game watching this than you will watching most run-throughs or, you know, other demos of it. Anyway, that's it for other people's channels. Those are 4 cool videos I recommend. Now, let's talk about new games I found on Board Game Geek and have added high on my wish list, starting with Ziggurat. Oh my gosh, where did this come from, folks? Rahdo Davaiu and Matt Leacock are getting together again to make another legacy game. But unlike every time they've worked before, this is not based on an existing franchise. This is a totally new setting. It's a dungeon exploration game. Apparently the campaign will have 6 levels you play through, and then of course you've got a fully customized version of this world that you can replay over and over again. It's from Mindware, the publisher behind Quirkle. Everything about this game is surprising. I don't understand, but I have to know more. And this has rocketed to the top of my must-have list. Okay, then we've got Spectacular. And this is from the design team of brothers, Eilif and Asmund Svensson. We've worked together before on Riverside and Come Together made my top 10 games of 2022. It's a phenomenal game. And so I'm always excited to see them working together, or pretty much anything Eilif does, but hey, working with his brother makes it even better. This one looks like a kind of entwined drafting a la Cascadia style game, where, okay, I gotta pick a tile and I gotta pick the thing it's associated with. This time it's tiles bound up with dice, and the dice represent food to feed in to the animals that are in the habitats of the tiles that you're building your own little space on. Again, they've got a great pedigree, and I cannot wait to check that out. Okay, what's up next? Oh, Citizens of the Spark. This is exciting because it's from designer Phil Duberry. And Phil Duberry is back. I mean, for folks who may not remember, like half a decade ago, Phil was on fire, putting out really some of the biggest games of the age. But he's really gone silent for, gosh, 5 or 6 years now. But this is going to be a return to form. Hopefully, I'm very excited. Thunderworks is the publisher. You know, they do Cartographers, Role Player. And this kind of sounds like a Magic the Gathering style, really big game with tons of cards, tons of combos. What you do is, I think the game comes with like 30 different animal, citizen, anthropomorphized animal creatures. There's 30 in the box. You mix a random assortment of 10 of them, shuffle them all up, and start playing. And like I said, from the description on Board Game Geek, this sounds as big and complex combo-wise as a Magic the Gathering, but we're actually building up a civilization rather than trying to destroy each other, which gets me very excited. That's what I want to see. And again, Phil Duberry is back. I don't know, maybe he spent the last half a decade making this game. It sounds so big. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you want to know more about it, folks, you can go to Board Game Geek. All the games I'm talking about, there's links for them down in the show notes. You can add them to your wish list if they sound interesting. What's next? Oh, this got a lot of attention this week. Life in Reterra. This is Eric Lang teaming up with Eric Gruhl, so 2 Erics are better than 1, and I am excited about this because Eric for the first time in quite a while, is making a game that's not all about fighting and destroying each other and dudes on a map. This is a game about, tile laying game about building up a civilization. And it's interestingly, it's from publisher Hasbro, which means it's probably going to be a more, mass market friendly style game. But I have seen, Eric has said, this is one of his strongest designs he's ever made. So does this mean it's an Eric Lang game made for me and Jen? I'm very excited to find out. Then what we got, oh man, there were so many games this week, folks. Kokeshi. This is co-designed by the designer of a sadly overlooked game called Nomopolis. I covered it a couple of years ago. Nomopolis was phenomenal. So anything from that guy, Igor Knop, I'm going to be interested in the future. This is engine building with a focus on track progression. And I love working my way up tracks, all Zolkin the Mayan calendar and stuff like that. But here, moving your way up the tracks makes your engine stronger as you're activating more things and trying to combo the different tracks together. I am interested, both because of the designer and because that sounds like two great mechanisms that I absolutely love. Then we've got Barcelona, Passage de Gracia. Barcelona made my top 10 games of 2023. Here comes its first big expansion from Board and Dice. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I didn't think, the game needed an expansion, but this does sound cool. It adds a whole separate board, like a whole new game element where there are dice that represent pedestrians walking along the boulevard, looking at all the buildings that we're making. And of course, you've got to make them happy. So now you've got this whole extra level of consideration as you try to build up the beautiful buildings of Barcelona and keep those pedestrians happy. Okay, Skulls of Sedlec, Expansion Collection number 3. Although I could easily talk about Expansion Collection number 2 and number 1 as well. This is all part of the current crowdfunding campaign going on GameFound right now from Button Shy Games. They're bringing back a lot of older games that have been out of print for quite a while, bringing out some expansions. I mean, Skulls of Sedlec is one of their biggest hits, and the more cards you throw into Skulls of Sedlec, the better it gets. And so they've got like 3 new ones, but this is your chance, and this is my chance, because I've just got Skulls of Sedlec and a couple of little expansions. I want all of that stuff, and so they're all wrapped up together in these new collections. Plus, Seasons of Rice is back. Coincidentally, I just did a run-through of that the other day. Button Shy, as I said before, is one of the best kept secrets in board gaming. You owe it to yourself, folks, to go check it out. I'll put a link for their GameFound campaign because it's only running for a few more days. A link down in the show notes. Okay, and let me know, what do you think is the best Button Shy game? I know everybody's got their opinions. What else? Okay, Brink, which is not a tie-in with the video game that I personally designed. This is a sequel to Moonrakers by Ivy Studios, who are, they just can do no wrong. Moonrakers is a very popular kind of card drafting game. This is now worker placement set in deep space, focusing on trade between players and exploration. So it really has a different feel, although set in the same universe as Moonrakers. So I'm interested. I mean, Shay did a great run-through of Moonrakers on the channel if you want to go check it out. One thing I'm worried about, it says it features hidden voting. I don't know how well that's going to work for 2 players, but I'm interested to find out more. Then, okay, Tropicalia. Last week, I talked about Sinister Institute, Phil Walker Harding teaming up with publisher Mojito. And that wasn't the only one. We've got this one as well. It's a worker placement game where you're changing tiles represents the island that you're developing and harvesting fruit to sell. So I'm excited because of the designer, but honestly, I'm excited because of artist Xavier Duran, who's the artist on Takedo, Big Book of Madness, Seasons, one of the best artists in the industry, quite frankly. So this game is going to be jaw-droppingly gorgeous. It's a Phil Walker Harding design, so it's probably going to be a lot of fun too. Then we've got, let's talk about, who is this publisher Mojito? They're just coming out of nowhere. Big hitter designers, big hitter artists. We've got Lords of Worlds. It's Kramer and Kiesling. Anytime these two work together, I gotta check it out. And this time, we're shopping in a gigantic intergalactic space mall, trying to buy stuff to take back to our own home world. Kramer and Kiesling, you had me at that, and Mojito as well. Okay, folks, I think that is it. We've got another week recapped. I have left the park behind. Right around the corner is the RV, where we will be sitting down and editing this together. And thanks as always for watching. There's the playlist. You don't want to miss any of those videos, do you? I don't think so. And that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to walk here in silence. In fact, I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit and you have a few more seconds to click that thing, because otherwise you're just going to watch me just disappear into black at any second now, right in the middle of a